It is a world of darkness. The sin of Cain has spawned the cursed horror that stalks the night in search of living blood. The kindred have long been a secret influence through all ages of human history, plotting against each other in a never-ending jihad. Their immortal progeny are among us to this day, hidden from the eyes of humanity by an elaborate masquerade.
Burn it at both ends. I like the fire causing mayhem. I'm not tired, I've been waiting. I'm not forsaken, I'm my own and I'm jaded. Energy comes from my hatred. Call me the villain, cause I be killing. I got no feeling, I've been dealing with all my demons. I like to feed them, they be chilling. Yeah, they be screaming, I can hear them in my mind. They just wanna find any fight, any reason.
Dark side, there ain't no place to hide. All your fears are electrified. Welcome to the hard side, where it's all do or die. We're the shadow to the light. I can feel it in my bones. I'm addicted to the thirst. I ain't never letting go, even when it hurts. This is my curse.
Have to be working to deserve it. Adrenaline is surging, ain't no serving. I'm the king, bring me everything that I've ever wanted, that I need. I believe I could be anything, watch me. Give me a second to blow, give me a second to grow. Be at the top of the show, be at the top like a pro. I flip the switch, different mode. No, they ain't laughing, no joke, cause I attack when they won't.
Welcome to the dark side, there ain't no place to hide. All your fears are electrified. Welcome to the hard side, where it's all do or die. We're the shadow to the light. I can feel it in my bones. I'm addicted to the thirst. I ain't never letting go, even when it hurts. This is my curse.
Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it.
right. Kill the music, and we are back and live once again with Ashland by Night. Excited to be here. Really interested to see how this game is going to go down and see just who's going to do what for how many cookies. Yeah, so Davy Jones, we have almost a full house. We have the riveting shot of Brittany's apartment right now, and Dahlia, her player, is actually out with her family out camping right now. So otherwise, yes, we have a full house. So who here wants to give us a recap from the last game? I know some of us here could probably really use it.
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
I can't talk. I'm torpid.
Wait, hold. I was gonna say, so Todd's volunteering to do the recap then.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so in last episode, I was below ground working with the rats and training them, and I've got quite a bit of leather goods. Okay, Henri's done.
Yeah. I can go ahead and read Ben's sweeper report. It seems to work pretty well.
That'll work.
So
give us the clean sweep.
Yeah. So Trudy, so this is in the Saturday game. Trudy asked for help to go after a rogue Anarch Ravnos in Klamath Falls for Damascus, because that's his domain. Mm-hmm. He is apparently a pedophile and possessed a magical mask that Damascus wanted back. So we did find him. He was playing as a magician in a county fair in Klamath Falls. Long story short, we got the mask. Some of his ghouls were killed. He's killed. And Seth was torpid. There was a fire at the fair. And there was a big wreck on the highway. That wreck was what killed the dude and torped Seth.
Seth did the whole Matrix / Mission Impossible thing.
Exactly.
Getting blown up.
She got that too, yeah.
Yeah. Run over, blown up. Think it was a catastrophic way you could die. She log-rolled
a motorhome.
Yeah. Let's see. But through it all, it doesn't seem like any masquerade breaches were done, because none of us used powers in front of the populace that anyone would have seen anyway. And right now, at least Ben is looking into finding someone who can revive Seth.
What was the name of the person you guys were looking for?
Damascus Greyburgett.
Yeah.
Okay, so because there was another person that the marshal wants us to find, Wacy Romanowski. This is an unrelated person?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, Wacy's still out there. This guy is gone. He's dead now.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay, so picking up, we are timeline-wise, we're about 2 nights from the events from last night, from last game session of Blood Ties. So we'll actually get to first Ben, because I know you've been trying to figure out ways to help Persephone.
Right.
As her body, as her semi-hairless, skinned-up body is just kind of, with some sheets thrown over her, for modesty.
Yeah. I figure we've brought her, with that. Just kind of back to her house and whatnot. So yeah, looking through her phone, is he then ultimately able to find the name that he doesn't recognize? Yep. That's okay.
There's one name on there that you don't. She doesn't have many, which helped. But the one name that you don't recognize is Katrina.
Okay. So then he's going to go ahead and use her phone and place a call to Katrina.
Okay. So it rings once, rings twice, then it picks up. There's a lot of noise in the background, like whoever picked up is someplace that's busy.
Three times a maybe.
Yes, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times a maiden.
Tice.
Yep.
3 times a maybe.
Oh, if this doesn't work, I have another idea.
Uh-oh.
And it's not.
Brittany coming up with all the ideas.
Yeah.
So it picks up. Yeah.
Hi. Obviously, I'm calling from a phone that's not mine, and you might not recognize my voice, but I know Lily. She goes by a different name now, but I'm hoping you're someone she knows well and who knows her well, because she's in some trouble. My name's Ben. Am I speaking to Katrina right now?
Okay. I don't know a Ben. I don't know when she would have some other identity. So how do I know that this is legit?
Well, first, you can tell that I'm probably you can tell I'm calling from her phone. Her number would have popped up.
Right, that's not helping you right now.
Okay. Huh, thought that would have. Okay. Well, stinks that she never mentioned me. A lot of stuff's happened recently. We were in pursuit of someone, and she got torpid. And I care about her, and I'm trying to revive her right now.
And so she's all, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you going over this all over a phone?
I do that normally. You don't?
No.
Do you hand your phone out to people to look at it all the time? Like, what's your security like? Sheesh.
Then you just hear beep, like disconnect at that point.
Okay. I go ahead and call her right back again from that phone.
So now it goes directly to voicemail.
Okay. All right.
And it's one of those robotic things. It's like the number you have, or it's like the number you have called, Katrina, is unavailable to pick up right now.
Okay. So yeah, I wait for the beep so I can leave a message, and then Ben goes, "Well, that was rude. Nice to know you don't care about Lily. I'm going to let her know that once I find somebody else who can revive her. So you have a good whoever you are." Boop.
Okay.
And then I go ahead and place a group-wide text to the group chat, and go, the contacts on Lily's phone or Seth's phone were a dud. Looking for someone else. Any ideas?
Sophie will text and say, we could ask Isadora or maybe Dr. Presser. He seems pretty old.
So he responds, "Good point. I'll give the doc a call." And so then Ben goes ahead and calls up Dr. Prester.
Okay. So he picks up after a couple rings. Hello, this is Dr. Prester.
Hey, Doc, it's Ben. How are things?
Busy. Unusually busy, but I have a moment. Is there something I can do to assist?
Well, I'm hoping so. You probably haven't been brought into the loop, but long story short, one of the group has been torpid. She's out, and I'm looking for someone who's able to revive her. And I know you've been around the block a few times. I don't know how many you know or how old you are, because that's tough to tell. But I'm looking for somebody who can figure out how old she was. She wasn't really vocal about that perfectly, and how we can bring her out of it.
I see. And you're, of course, speaking on a secured line, right?
Right. Yeah, using the Pantheon investigation phone.
No, he was asking that.
Oh yeah. So I go, oh yeah. My phone, it's been encrypted and stuff. So
I see. I don't exactly have any methods for that. Normally, I would outsource that to a Tremere, and as I understand it, she was pretty much your only Tremere, correct?
that's right. Yeah.
So, short of individuals that we know are elders that would be able to rouse her without knowing her specific generation are pretty thin. I only know of two, and one is currently, from my understanding, resting himself.
Got it. Okay. Um, well, all right. If you happen to think up of anything else while you're doing your thing, let me know. I'm gonna ask around to see if there's anything we can do, because nobody wants to wait years for her
Right.
to come out of it.
Presumably, it's
Obviously.
going to be quite some time before her beast finally rouses her from her slumber. Understandable.
Right. All right. Well, hey, thanks anyway, Doc. I'll catch you later.
Okay, so he hangs up.
All right. So then Ben puts another text in the chat and goes, the Doc's got nothing so far, unless we can find another Tremere somewhere.
At this point, Sophie will go find Colin
Okay.
and show him her phone.
Okay, so I mean, at this point, he's just doing something mundane like feeding the pets. Nothing just super exciting. So he, looks up as you're showing him his phone. He says, "Hun, what am I looking at?"
So apparently, Seth is in torpor right now, and we don't know what generation she is. Ergo, who would be able to bring her out of it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to presume, but do you think? Oh no, they're in the wind, aren't they?
Who? Oh, I know who you're going with now, and yes, they are.
Okay, so she's not even an option.
Yeah. Hema and the Watcher are. I don't even know where they're at this point.
Okay, scratch that idea. I don't even know. Shoot.
Well, don't you need like elders or something for it, or are you just trying to find out like her particulars from the blood?
I mean, either or, but I mean, we don't want to mess this up. Obviously, if somebody tries to, feed her theirs and they're not sufficiently strong, then she's got a bond and she's still asleep. So
Right.
that doesn't really help.
So I think I'm getting the sense of concern here. You don't want to essentially
Not a trial and error thing.
Yeah, you don't want to just have her run the gambit of everybody's blood and no one be able to do it. And she's just bonded a bunch of times.
Yeah. Who else do we know in town that's probably really old?
Well, ooh. I don't think you'll like either choice.
Tell me.
So Isadora, I'm pretty certain, is probably going to be old enough, or she seems. What would the term be? Eld or elder? I don't know.
Eld?
Yeah, I know.
Eld. I'm going to tell her you said that.
Yeah. You do that. Or Kyrene.
Do you think she's that? You think she's that strong?
She's the child of Adam.
Oh, she is. Okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't be the one to ask her. Not that there's any problems, obviously. I just it's a little weird still.
My job is just to, find some options. So
right. No, I get it.
She'll text the phone.
Don't you guys know other elders? Like, didn't everybody go run off and go do something outside of town?
Oh yeah, Damascus. Oh, you know what? There's also Aben is pretty old. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, he might be an option too.
So Sophie will text the group and say, Kyrene is Adam's child. There's also perhaps Damascus or Amen. Send.
So then Ben will respond, if I can get Damascus's number, I'll give him a call.
Sophie doesn't have it. I don't know if Sophie's actually... No, she met him once.
Remus does.
Yes, hello. Oh yeah, no, because he gave us business cards.
Yeah.
Or I guess I have his business card. I say.
Well, you definitely do. He did hand out contact information when some of you guys first met him.
Right. Okay.
I mean, if you don't know how to contact him, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, I know how to contact him. Yeah, I'll say I know how to contact him, but it'll cost you. Not me. Like, he's not going to just do this for free.
Oh, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I as soon as I said it, I was like, Remus be like, oh yeah, no, they're going to take that the wrong way. All right, here we go.
Damn, Remus.
Dude, Remus is on his like second or third day now. He's seen some stuff.
Remus would chip in at that point and going like, you're probably talking major frustration. It's not a life boon, but it's really damn close. So you better be thinking in values like that.
I can definitely contact Damascus, but you may want to try the other options if you don't want to end up owing him something.
And Ben responds, I know I'm going to end something. I'm going to owe something to whoever it is who helps. And then he'll say, if you give me Damascus' number, I'll call him directly, unless somebody can think of someone else.
I'll type this up. I'll say I can contact him and kind of like open up the channels. I don't know, like, just because I think that might be easier than just like cold calling him out of nowhere. But I mean, if you're sure, I understand that this is important. I'm not trying to tell you that it's not. It's more of and like you said, you're gonna have to owe somebody. But it does sometimes it does matter who you owe.
Ben will respond, we literally just helped Damascus. Maybe that'll give us an in. go ahead and call him and tell me what he says.
All right, I'll contact Damascus.
Okay. So you place a call in. You place a call through, and it's a relay sort of thing. It's like one of his servants will pick up the phone, usually answers, Tri-Castle Corporation or whatnot. Then you speak. You already know kind of the routine because you've got that tucked away in the back of your memory. And then he picks up the phone and he says, Remus, are you feeling Remus tonight, or is it Benedict?
I guess a little of both, actually. The reason I'm calling is because someone in our group is in need of assistance, and we were hoping that you might be able to help us out.
I would be happy to try and assist. What exactly is the concern?
Okay, and I'll just give him like the kind of the lowdown of like what's going on.
Okay.
Seth is in torpor. We need blood old enough to rise her from it.
Oh, I see. I was wondering how they were going to resolve that particular issue. It looked rather nasty from the reports that I had received. If you can bring her body and whoever wishes to come with, I would be happy to get her free from torpor.
Okay, that sounds good. Should we bring them to your office? Is there a place you'd like to meet us?
No, I think it would be safer if whoever is coming come to my city.
Okay, and I know where his city is, right?
Yeah, Klamath Falls.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about an hour outside of town.
Okay. Okay, and I'll say, all right, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Of course.
Okay, I'll hang up, and I'll call Ben directly.
Hey, Remus, what you got?
Hello. Damascus is. He says that he's willing to help. We will need to bring to his place in Klamath Falls, though.
Fine, done. Yeah. Are you gonna come with since you were the go-between here, or should I just go myself?
I can go with. I think you'd be fine on your own, but it doesn't hurt to have someone accompany you. But yeah, he also didn't mention any payment or anything like that. So maybe this is a freebie for you guys.
All right. Sounded good so far. Hey, yeah, where you want to meet?
I guess I could get you into the van. I'll meet you at Steph's place. Is that where you guys are at?
Yeah, I'll be here. We'll get her in the van, and then we can head to Klamath Falls.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get the van loaded up because it'll probably be easier for two people in a body. Probably easier than the creamsicle.
Yes. This is true.
Yeah.
Plus, easier to hide.
Yeah, and it's got like blood reserves and stuff in it in case we run into issues.
This is correct.
Yeah. So I'll drive out. I'll meet Ben, and then we'll strap Seth to the top like a set of skis, and then we'll strap out. False. Put her lovingly in the back.
Put her in the back seat like a set of skis.
Like a set of skis. Just toss her.
Okay, so as you two are planning that, Damaris, you get a text.
Cool. Who is it from?
Daddy-O. That's what it comes up as on your phone.
Okay. Well, I'm probably at Kyrene's right now.
You are, yes.
basically, I think what I've been doing is essentially getting my own place ready to be sold again because clearly I can't stay there anymore.
Right. Which
and
is
then
fine.
searching for a new place. All right. Well, what does the text say?
So the text it's pretty basic. It just says, "Where are we with the local plans?"
Nowhere, because I've had a lot going on. To be straight up honest.
Okay, so he sends you an image of basically the title graphic of One Life to Live.
Okay. I don't get that reference, but
it's a soap opera.
I know that, but okay.
And he says, "We need progress."
Yeah, I know. Sorry. On top of that, I just I've had a lot going on, so.
So he sends another text.
I got nothing to tell him.
Yeah, he sends another text. He says, "Put your game face on, and the appropriate boots, and get to work. We need this going."
You got it, boss. I have to go through my notes because I don't remember what he's wanted me to do at all.
So keep digging. I'm sure it's back there a ways. The house that you're staying at, it's an older house. Inside there are a lot of plants. Kyrene likes having her plants like everywhere. It's almost like a floral shop. There is a little bit of art on the walls and whatnot. Otherwise, it's mostly just if she could turn plants to cats, she would be the crazy cat lady. Basically,
that's okay.
Just a lot of plants that she tends to very frequently and makes sure that they're all watered and tended to and whatnot.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, Dahlia has moved out
to her boyfriend's house.
Yes. So okay. I wanted to let you know that too. So I didn't know if you knew.
Well, they had us go meet him, and
right.
And I knew that was the intention. So yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Just making sure. Okay. Persephone, what are you doing? I kid.
Beauty rest.
Dude.
She stiffly pays attention. I actually did that to Brittany one game when she got staked, and she was actually out for most of the game. I would occasionally come back. That's where she met Cuddles. So
I held my action.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So Henri, you have you've just been kind of intermixed with either doing leather work or trying to breed more rats. That has not been going all that well. The leather working, however, is going over just fine because you've had assistance with that. You've actually had a second. Where's that tech stock? That's not the right one. That's the right one. No, this one is. Here we go. So you have had Skeeter, who is helping you, and you actually had Cletus as well. Skeeter is actually related to Ellie Elise specifically. So she's like a gangly little girl. Cletus is actually the half Korean kid who talks in a country accent. Both of which have been helping you with leather work because Robert has actually been gambling a lot.
All right. So we're doing well with the leather work. I'm happy about that. It's the right time of night. I guess I've just been focused on the business too much to be really paying attention to their texts. So maybe I look down at the phone at this point to see what's been going on these past few weeks.
Sure.
I like the idea that like you just didn't charge the phone and it's just been dead for. You just like forgot about it. You're like, yeah.
That's
what
fine.
I was thinking.
Yeah, it's, I mean, so you plug it up, and obviously, it, within a couple minutes, it's bling 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 bling. It's starting to like update and whatnot.
So I'm pretty shocked. I don't bother to read all the text. I just scroll to the very bottom all the text, and I'm like, bonjour, my friends. I'm not sure what is going on. I've seen. I apologize for my lack of presence. I've been very busy, and what all the dinging my phone is doing, it's obviously you've been busy too. So what is going on? I don't. It's hard to fathom exactly what is. I cannot catch up. Can someone give me a synopsis? I apologize.
So, for the first time in a while, there are the three little dots that appear in the chat, and they hang a little bit. And the image shows it looks like Henri is finally starting to text, and then boom, big text.
Ben will go ahead and put in the chat. Lots have happened. Seth is knocked out, and we're trying to revive her. What have you been up to?
I follow up with Seth is Ben's new girlfriend.
And I'll say, Henri, it's so nice to hear from you.
Benjamin, you have a new girlfriend? What happens to our friend? Is she? I know we were working on replacing her face. I did not know we were going to replace her together.
He'll put down Lily equals Seth.
Oh, I apologize. There were lots and lots of dings. I was not going to catch up quickly on everything. I've been attempting to breed rats, Remus, and not doing very well. I should be on second or maybe third generation with them at this point, but they're not doing well with the fungus that she gave them. But the leather work has gone very well. Lily will be very happy with the as she called it the bondage for the show that she wanted me to do. I have to talk to her, but. Okay, no, wait. She is knocked out? What is this? What do you mean?
He writes down torpid and sends that.
Oh. Putting it lightly, do we know what generation she is?
Beavis would put a text in, are all the phones secured? Or are some of these unsecured phones?
Pretty sure they're all secured.
Ben's going to type, who's giving their phones to other people? What's with this security paranoia? Don't hand your phone to others.
He calls from Persephone's phone.
Seth, you're alive. Or you're awake, I guess, is more correct.
Well, I only mentioned it because apparently his phone has been not in his possession.
No, my phone has not been plugged in. I've been too busy.
That means it was not in your possession.
It was in my possession. It was just not plugged in. That's all.
So you have a long cord that reaches into your pocket while you're working?
No, when I am in repose, my phone has been with me. I just did not bother to plug this phone in. That's
Okay, you say so.
Ben will then type in, all right, everyone's paranoid. Stop talking about all that stuff. We'll figure out a code when we all meet up later.
Sophie will say, "Are we meeting up or question mark?"
Then I'll say, R and myself are heading to D at KF to revive S. And then I'll say, can everyone figure that out? No? That's why it's a problem. And send.
Revis just sends a smiley face.
I said, is it Revis or is it Remus? Which one of us is R?
Well, if you want, you can send a smiley face too.
Okay. Identical smiley face.
Sophie will send back a peace sign.
Okay.
Like a
The
peace sign.
emoji.
Yep.
Or just take a picture of your hand doing that.
No.
Yeah.
Ben's not testy at all tonight.
I do not know how. I do not know how to do these pictures. And I do not know these letters. Is this another language? I do not understand what. Okay. Well, do I need to go back to working on my leather? How can I help here?
Ben will send a head slap emoji and say, handling it right now. How about we all meet up somewhere in a couple hours? I'll send that.
Skeeter, do you know how to use the pictures on the phone? Can you put no?
Yeah, so she comes walking over and she just looks at it and she says, yeah, you press this right here, brings up little option. You see like a little button comes up. She said, you got all kinds of like smiley faces. You got a devil face. You want to make like little heart emoji thingy. You can make a heartbreaky thingy.
Oh, no.
There's thumbs up stuff. Then there's the special things like here if you want to get like the Billy Ray Cyrus little gift clip thing for achy breaky heart.
No. I like the devil. Let's do this devil. Do that.
Okay, well, you just slide over, you click, you press that, and then when it gives you the option, you select your emoji.
Okay. Now, Skeeter, don't tell anyone that I was showing you my phone, because our friend Revis here does not like that. So thank you very much.
Okay. Sure. It's not like you showed me any naughty pictures or nothing.
No, I did not. It's something about what did he say? Is it very secure? Are we being so? It's not. Anyway, thank you for your help with the leather work. You're doing very well.
Okay.
I go back in the chat. Aha! I got the double face on there.
There's like a couple extra like pop up there, like by Mrs. Bling 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 Bling. You know, he's starting to figure out emojis.
Revis is just going to send another smiley face with, and this is why I asked the question.
Okay, so with that being said, then what we'll do is to speed things up a little bit. Obviously, it's a car ride back over to Klamath Falls. You were scheduled to meet at at a home that it looks like Damascus probably uses for his haven. A nice, spacious looking mansion for this area. A lot of security, obviously, but you would go there. He would bring Persephone in. Obviously, he's not going to just hand you guys blood. He's going to, take it literally from his wrist. We're dealing with a Tremere. He's not that stupid.
Yep.
And he pries her stiff mouth open, and drops a point of blood into her throat, and then with like in an instant, she's thrown upright, and now 2 points blood bound to Damascus.
Where am
Ben,
I?
Ben will be like, "It's okay. It's all right. You were knocked out. You remember the last thing that you did?"
I remember a semi truck.
Yep, that makes sense. That was the last thing you probably saw before it hit you.
And
Yeah,
so
and that
Damascus is calling somebody over to bring her some spare clothing. It's nothing fancy, but it's something that she can wear, so she's
Wait,
actually in something.
Has she been naked this whole time? We took her from you guys' shared home, and we didn't.
You mean you guys did? You didn't bother dressing her?
Not
Good grief.
not straight naked. She was like in just blankets and sheets.
Awkward.
I'm not your boyfriend, so I'm like, well, that's not my call.
Her mom could have even just done it.
They didn't ask her.
Yeah. So, but be that as it may, be that as it may, to wrap this particular part up, so you guys don't get hung up, outside of town for a while. Damascus simply just tells you, as far as everything is concerned, for your service to my city, our debts are squared. Specifically to Persephone.
Ben will say, "Thank you, Damascus. Really appreciate that. Hey, if you need anything else, you can even call me directly if you want."
Thank you, Damascus.
Enjoy, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
If you need anything, you have my number.
Yes, I do.
All right, let's head out. And then Ben will put in the group chat, "She's back. Where are we meeting?"
He's a very nice guy.
Well, I mean, we did help him out, so it's not like it was totally for free, but worked out.
We're assuming we're in the car now, like
Yes.
driving out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just you don't have to act like me. I'm the one who's supposed to do the crazy stunts. You're the Tremere here. Let's get that straight. None of that stuff again.
You gotta admit, it was kind of cool.
It was really cool. I mean, there's no denying that. But that was close, babe. That was really close.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could take being hit by a truck right after a rollover. So just,
I don't know. You're made of stronger stuff than I am. But then again, I guess it's, Data Bruja, you start acting like one.
Question: where did you guys decide to set the meeting at, so that all of you can collectively powwow?
Let's say we're at the cannery.
Okay, so the new place then. So your office space at the cannery. Okay, that'll work.
Cannery.
So you guys are on your way in town at this point. As you are, Remus, you get a text message.
Okay, I'll check it.
It's a picture. It's a nice big kind of campfire. They've got some sort of like big old hog roasting on a spit. There's drinks like set out beside. Nobody's in the picture, with the exception of what's there, and it's like and the picture says "only missing you."
Were we supposed to meet tonight, or was it just like a kind of open invitation?
It was open invitation. He didn't really accept, so.
Okay. I'll say, or I'll text back and I'll say, like that looks mighty appetizing. I have plans for tonight, but if they don't go too late, maybe I can swing by.
Okay. Sends you a thumbs up emoji, and he says, just recently got a couple of new, the thing says got a couple of new dogs. Figure you might want to look at them.
Okay. Yeah, I'll type. I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm very excited," and then I'll send that.
Okay. And about that point, everybody from your respective locations are pulling up to the cannery building. For those of you who haven't been around or missed the description, the cannery is an old historic building in Ashland that used to be a cannery, but the building underwent a complete refurbish. And it now has several offices and small little restaurants in the building, as well as a couple of open spaces. And that's one of these spaces is where the current vampires are meeting tonight. And if I understood correctly, you guys opted for the office space that has direct access to outside, correct? Because it was bigger.
That's my recollection.
I thought we opted for the one that was inside.
Yeah.
Because the one
One without
inside,
the window.
okay, so then just like the back office sort of thing. Okay, that's fine.
The one that's more secure.
Sure.
I love that we keep choosing like historic buildings and like I worry that we're going to destroy all of Ashland's historical buildings before too long.
Just knock on wood here.
Seth is going to wrap one of the blankets around her, and especially her head, because she looks like Bozo right now.
She actually has clothing. You have.
I know, but she's missing hair.
Yes.
So she's gonna have the blanket draped over her, like a cape.
Yeah, no problem. So, Steph comes in. She has an I Heart Klamath Falls t-shirt. She has some basic stretchy pants, and some like just slip-on shoes, basic shoes. And she wearing one of the sheets, kind of like a cowl and tucked up around, almost a little generic superhero-y.
You could have stopped at home if you wanted. But Sophie will go and give her a hug.
I wasn't driving. She'll hug her back. It's good to see you.
I'm glad you're better.
Welcome back.
That was a trip. You think they got it on camera?
Better not have gotten that on camera.
Log roll in the motorhome.
That was pretty cool, but no more of that.
Oh, Henri, since Robert isn't available to drive you, Skeeter drives you.
Okay. I can drive. I just don't have. We only have the one vehicle, so.
Yeah, so Skeeter drives you.
All right.
So you guys end up seeing Henri come pulling up in it's a used sedan. It's not like all primered and cheap looking. However, Skeeter is only about 13 years old. So
because you said, I think earlier you said that they were young, and I was like, oh, they must be like 18. Like, I'm sorry.
No. So I mean, Skeeter, gets out real quick. She's got she has like a Call of Duty shirt on, with like really beat up looking denim pants, and opens the door real quick for Henri, and is like super flowery like she's expectant to do this for royalty or something, like very ostentatious.
Right. Peter, I told you I could have driven your car, and you do not need to open the door for me like this.
No. My daddy told me we need to make sure we took care of you, Mr. Henri. And since Robert weren't around, I figure since I can drive, I would drive.
Okay. Well,
you need me to hang around, or do you just want me to go back and do some more leather working?
Let me make sure this is the correct place I am supposed to be, and then I can get a ride. And then if I have a ride, I will come back out and let you know.
Okay, sure thing. Yeah, not a problem. We just want to make sure we don't leave Cletus there too long. He might start huffing, and You know how he gets when he huffs.
Well, no, he did. I did not know that he would be huffing up on the urine. It was disgusting enough as it was. I will be right back. I'm gonna go
So
wander.
she just
up.
hops up on the hood and just waits.
I'm gonna go wander on in. It's my first time here, and I'm like,
So
hello?
basically, it's one of
yeah.
those back hallway access in like you would see in the back of commercial storefronts that would basically give you access to all of the other buildings. But you would go in there a little ways, and there's an office that has been designated for you guys for your meetings.
All right. So whatever direction they gave me, I'll go walk back there and like, bonjour, hello, is everyone here?
Reeves is going to stick his head out and go like, "Who is this person?"
We have met, Remus. I'm wearing the Marcel Marceau face. You know you've met me. Oh, it's a joke. I get it. It's so funny.
Yes, it's a joke. Where you been?
I've been busy, but my ride outside she is waiting. I just need to make sure I can get a ride back to my abode. Is that it?
I'm sure someone will give you a ride. If no one else will, I will.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go jog outside. Skeeter, you are good to go. Go take care of go. Just be very productive if you would tonight.
Yeah, sure thing, Mr. Henry. Thank you, Table of Horrors, for the raid. Party of 16. So she jumps into the car real quick, throws on some Cypress Hill, and you hear Insane the Membrane as she's, pulling out of the, the parking lot there. Does a pretty good job of driving, but hits the curb.
I have so many questions. First of all, is the driving age in Ashland 13 years old?
Absolutely not.
No, it's 16.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much 15 and a half to 16 almost everywhere.
So is she like with the books on the steering wheels? Like, can she even reach the pedals?
Yeah, but she has to have the seat pulled all the way up.
Okay, I don't know. Just anything with the Brodovich family just cracks me up. I'm sorry.
Sophie is just alarmed.
So I come in, I'm like, bonjour, everyone. Rebus, very funny man over here. It's good to see everyone.
Hey, Henri.
Yeah, they're Henri.
I'll get up and I'll give him a hug.
Hey, Henri. Good to see you.
It's been a minute.
Since when did we become huggers here?
Hello,
there's a couple apps that you probably need to download to your phone since you're so unfamiliar with it.
Sophie,
Later on tonight, I'll show you which ones would help with that communication problem we experience.
What is an app?
That's my point.
Okay.
Thank you for illustrating it. We'll talk later.
Okay, we'll talk later.
What's wrong with the phones?
It depends. Do you have a phone with no type of security on it?
Mine's encrypted. I
Yes.
thought all of ours was encrypted.
Benjamin gave me this phone. This is a good phone, right, Benjamin?
Be right back.
Yeah, but everyone's got issues, and admittedly, if someone picks up your phone, given enough time, they're gonna get into it. So we've got to figure out some way to talk through our phones that isn't obvious if somebody picks it up of what we are, who we are, what we're doing. Ideas?
Jerome, do we have fingerprints?
Yeah.
Technically, however, you do not secrete the oils.
So
Yeah.
so we don't leave fingerprints, but could we do the fingerprint on the phone thing?
Sure.
Would that
Face
still work?
recognition too.
Well, but some of us can change our face.
Well, and that also, we're saying we're using text is the point. And unless you delete them, they're there. Period. So
That's
everything that's been
I-
sent in a text still exists unless you delete it. And
Well, in encryption text, like if you use the one for Facebook, they have options that you can set it that it will self-delete in like a minute, 5 minutes, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. So
WhatsApp has the same thing where the conversation self-delete. And he is not phone friendly. And that was the point of what I'm making is
yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
go
I
ahead,
kind of
make
your
figured
main
we already
character.
had that.
You didn't get him an encrypted phone, Ben?
No, it's encrypted. It's the question is, how much of this stuff are we just putting out there for people to find in case they do pick up a phone?
Oh, mine deletes. It self deletes. So
Yeah, I was just focusing on. He made the comment, "I haven't picked up my phone," and I'm like, yeah, I'm not believing you kept it in your pocket all this time, so that means it's been sitting somewhere.
He's
has it been in your haven, Henri?
Yes, my phone and myself have been in my haven.
No. Yeah. Okay.
So just as everyone's talking, Sophie's gonna text Colin and just say, "We got it worked out. She's good again."
Is this my first time seeing Persephone?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like the conversation's going to be going on, and it's suddenly
She
going to hit
looks
me. I'm
nothing like Lily at all.
But she sounds like her.
So you are Lily?
Yes. Hello, Henri. It's good to see you.
You look fantastic.
No, she doesn't.
Thank you. No. Well,
well for him, yeah.
Oh, true. Okay, fair.
I usually look better.
Oh, you have the hair normally.
Yeah, I kind of kissed a semi at 80 miles an hour. I think it was 80. I'm not sure.
Probably.
I've fallen out of trucks going 80, but I've never hit a truck going 80, or had
Yeah.
a truck hit me.
I tried to jump, but I didn't jump high enough.
Okay.
Jump? Oh, okay. What kind of vehicle were you driving?
Me?
Yeah.
I was log rolling a motorhome. Well, a half of a motorhome.
They're really difficult to leave when they're in motion.
They're really hard to log roll too. Let me tell you.
Oh, it sounds like I missed a good time.
It was awesome. Except kissing the semi part, that wasn't so awesome.
Right. Maybe your segue from like DJ should be to action star, because you seem to be enjoying this rough and tumble jumping out of cars kind of thing. And
well, somebody had to do it, and he was getting away, so I just used my little spidey climb abilities and latched onto the motorhome and took him out.
Is there footage of this? Because I kind of want to see it now.
Yeah, I really wish there was footage of it.
I mean, it'd be bad if there was, but like...
Ben, you should have been like recording it.
No, nobody's taking recordings of what we're doing. Stop that. Jeez.
But it was awesome.
Yeah, it was, but we keep that to ourselves.
We finally squared off things with the cam, so this means now we can make masquerade jokes.
Remus just kind of doesn't get the logic behind it, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be an anarch thing.
Oh no, Remus is being silly.
Oh,
so
Remus probably doesn't get the silly part either.
Then. Yeah. It might be weird because Remus has not been very silly lately, but he's in a good mood.
So does that mean your people are doing better?
Yeah, we're almost got our own place figured out, and things seem to be working out great for the moment.
It's good.
The blood bank is up and running.
Perfect.
That's always helpful.
Oh, excellent. Is there have you decided on any kind of usage policies? Is it going to be like an ice cream truck, or for whenever we need it? Like, what are your thoughts regarding us and your blood bank?
Well, first of all, I wanted to function as like a functional blood bank with supplying blood to all the local hospitals and places that need it, just so on paper it looks legit and it will operate legit. And also, I just want it to be helpful to the community, just by and large. As far as our usage of it, don't take this the wrong way, but I kind of feel like regulation of it is probably a good idea. That just because there's always trouble in Ashland, and if there is somebody who keeps coming in
There's always
every other day, yeah, walking out with a big gulp full of O negative, you know, I probably want to keep in, I want to know who is, who's draining our sources and all of that. I think it's probably a good idea to have some sort of not necessarily a log, but at least something that is keeping track of like where it's going and all that. But I mean, it is going to be available for us, but I don't want it to turn into like into another target,
Do
if that makes sense.
do you want us to pay for them?
I mean, based on the past experience, you guys aren't necessarily, no offense, they're not that great about paying for blood anyway. But I think I don't know. I would be amenable to discussing a way of dealing with this, especially because I'm not up to par with the way the Anarchs run their cities. But
As I understand it, anarchs typically don't have cities. They have neighborhoods
Fiefdoms.
in someone else's territory.
so
So it's kind of however we decide to do it is how
Okay.
anarchs run the city.
Perhaps you only allow so much a month, maybe a bag or two, and that's it.
I think
Have like a punch card.
it'll depend on, I'm sure, on need. Like there's always going to be times like with Adam where there was a astronomical need that needed to be that just occurred. Sometimes we're not going to have the luxury of choice on that kind of stuff.
Or maybe I was going to say, or maybe alone time with Remus.
Oh, alone with me? No. But I don't intend to keep this as like my own personal blood supply. I do intend to use it in order to help the community, but I would like to discuss it with you, Baron, kind of the ways to best distribute the blood to the folk who need it.
Damaris, how did you do it? Because you had a supply.
I had a contact. I can't remember her name. Rachel can't remember the name off the top of the head. Sorry, I'm not feeling too hot right now, guys.
Is it
sorry?
Dixie.
Was it Dixie?
That name, I don't. Sure.
Maybe not.
I don't remember out of character. I'm sorry. But I had to move it, so right now I haven't been getting any from them because, the restaurant's been under surveillance, so to speak.
How did you go about dispersing it? I mean, because we would come in and get our drinks.
Well, I would only bring it out when you guys were there.
Yeah,
so,
it's
I mean,
a completely
as far
different
as
place.
yeah, I mean, it was set up in a, for you guys to take what you needed, based on what was there. So it wasn't. I didn't have any restrictions on allotment, so to speak.
Okay, so it was not like it was essentially like a secret club. We knew that the menu was there, so we could order from it, but
Right.
not every Anarch of Ashland knew about it.
Correct.
I
thought
see.
they did.
Okay, I do not think I was aware of that.
They did. When we, Jerome, when we get drinks at the Dragonflugel, we pay for those drinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like a regular club.
Yep.
Maybe that's. Yeah, because I don't necessarily want people showing up at the blood bank looking to hassle the people working there because they're normal people. So if it was going to be some sort of like way of distributing it to people, I'd prefer it to be to like a location where it could be gotten discreetly without putting, a whole lot of attention to the blood bank. But
Maybe there's like a vending area. Like you push a couple of buttons and of what you want, and the bag.
You still would have to put the machine somewhere.
yeah, and I worry about the machines getting vandalized, especially like
like outside of, I don't know, like a drive-through kind of a thing.
for blood.
Blood bank.
Wait, is there? This is Remus and also George asking: is there a lot of people just getting like bags of blood, just like drive-through, or
No?
No,
Okay.
it'd be
just
nice if we
gonna
had
say,
a
I'm like-
McDonald's.
Wouldn't that be so handy?
I don't think
So handy.
Can I get an O positive? Supersize it and
Hold the
some
bum.
AB. Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
like it hot or cold?
You're going to have to find a way to set it up that it's restricted distribution in a place where mortals don't see. Otherwise, it's an issue that will take place.
Yeah.
They rip whole bank assemblies out with pickup trucks nowadays to rob them. So anything less than a bank facility really isn't suitable for us to put blood in and hope nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, I think coming up with another another bar or like something that is like specifically for anarch use, so that way, at least I think it can work. I think the Anzio's idea can work, but I think the problem was that it was also Damaris's it was like a major source of income for her. And so setting it up there was probably like, if we could set it off as like, okay, somebody also owns like a kind of grubby bar someplace that we can send to people. It doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but that could even be a place where we can do meetings with anarchs that are coming into town that they need to be met up with. Like, head here, you can contact us here.
That's what I planned on doing with the club, but things changed.
I think something smaller than that, because I don't know. It might be better to hide it in a massive bodies, but I just imagine this stuff is probably better when there's fewer people paying attention to it. So like something like kind of a speakeasy.
Well, that was kind of what the club was in a way.
Can I ask those of you who have lived other places, has anyone, do other places have blood available like we had at the clubs and stuff? Or
No.
all just free range?
No,
It's pretty rare.
rare isn't the word I'd use. But
So anyone coming into town would automatically assume that they need to feed free range.
Yeah. I mean, that's the assumption pretty much everywhere you go. Unless somebody
that's
straight
pretty
up
much
tells
what
you
we've been
exactly
doing.
where to go.
Maybe we need to keep it that way, because I think, it's nice to have stores, blood stores, for emergency purposes, but I think the name of the game right now is decentralization. Keep everything as obscure as possible to outside eyes.
So only ask for the blood if there's an emergency. We call Remus, whoever Remus deems we can call. Remus, do you have like a ghoul or somebody running that, or is it all just humans?
They're employees. I don't think I've Googled any of them, right, Jerome? Yeah, no, I have the ones that I have, but yeah.
But if you set it up, if you made a call and asked for something specific, you think you could make it happen? You need a or you could have a ghoul go there and pick up a supply and take it somewhere if somebody called and there was an emergency. We need 10 pints of blood somewhere. Could
Yeah.
you make that happen?
I'm sure I could, especially with Liam's ability to, you know, alter machines. I'm pretty sure he could, you know, come up with a document that, you know, oh, there was a transfer of blood, that emergency transfer of blood that needed to happen. Um, I'm sure we could definitely work it out. And if I need to, I can install somebody who understands at the blood bank. But for the moment, I would like to keep it kind of as legit and discreet as possible. But I definitely want it to be available for emergencies and as we need it, because you know we need it a lot.
Right. Okay. Great. So then it sounds like once you figure out how that's going to work, let the rest of us know discreetly, probably at the next meeting, how you want us to reach out if there is an emergency. And that's the key. It's not just get a drink. You feed how you need to feed. You do the normal thing. If somebody's out for the count, if somebody's desperate for blood, we call you, or if you're not available, somebody you think is okay, we get their number. That process keeps going and it gets delivered somewhere discreet.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'll put some thought into that.
Jerome, how much blood do I have now?
Good question.
We had blood in the van, so if she was thirsty, she could drink that.
Right. I'm just checking to see where she's at. Okay, so you have 5 as of right now, plus 1 from Damascus,
Okay,
giving you
so
6. So, which is pretty low for a vampire. So you would probably need to hoover, if you're trying to be safe, you're probably going to want to hoover all 4 points that were in the van.
Yeah, speaking of such, I can feel it. I need to tap off.
All this talk about blood.
Normally, that's what herds are for, right?
Excuse me?
That's what herds are for, she said?
Oh, I thought she said birds.
That's the word I heard as well.
Sophie really is into like heron blood.
I haven't been in contact with my herd since the incident, and they don't know me as this.
Yeah, maybe start a new one.
What's going to happen?
How's the DJ thing going?
It's not right at the moment.
Probably a conversation for a different moment in time when she's not fresh out of the coffin.
Sure.
I actually do have something I would like to discuss, Baron, if it's and I think it's probably right to bring it up with everybody here.
You can just call me Sophie.
Yeah, but I don't know. And there will be times when I call you Sophie too, but
okay, so this is an official question.
Yeah, I think calling you Baron when it's like business related is probably
makes me feel like I'm in trouble.
Well, this isn't trouble. This is just something that is been brought to my attention, and I thought that I would bring it up to you. So the Brodoviches. I was after our last meeting at the Drakenflugel. I had a nice chat with Danny Brodovich. He was actually wondering if we would be interested in bringing like one of the Brodoviches into this circle.
I thought Danny was.
He is, but he's
like a representative.
Well, because if we're going to keep tapping them as resources and treating them as as we said that we're going to be treating them, us meeting Danny was it was by chance. It was not on purpose, but I think if we want to maintain a good relationship with them, I think it would be wise of us to include them, especially because after we spoke, or after we adjourned and I was talking with Danny, he actually brought up a lot of things that, he was like, he didn't feel right bringing them up because he wasn't technically involved in the meeting, but you know, the Bradoviches want to help us. They want to be useful, and and
So,
he wasn't, he wasn't bothered. But I think it would be nice to, possibly include them in future meetings and stuff, when especially when we think that, like, their input is, what would be important.
so do they officially want to be anarchs?
Well, they're not vampires. They can't technically.
Our ghouls are anarchs.
I, I,
Our ghouls are
This-
ghouls.
Are what they asking is to have some say in how the city handles things? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know if they necessarily want like a governing power. I think that's more like they just want to be included. Like, if we're going to be having meetings about how Ashland is, like how we're running Ashland and the things that are, like Danny was letting me know that, he wants to be useful to us. He wants the family to be, he wants us to know that, but I think that, he's reaching a hand out to us. I think in turn it would be fair for us to reach a hand out to him.
Yeah, we've been keeping them in the dark. It's better if they're aware of what's going on, especially if they're willing to help.
I agree. I think it's a
That
good idea.
is fair. I tend to make a point of notifying any of our allies around the city that are not, directly in the loop if there's anything happening that may affect them, like the feds are in town and whatnot. Thoughts?
Well, I have two things that I'd like to mention after we're done talking about this, but I think it's a good idea, truthfully. Just from a practical point of view. I'm sorry, what?
Do you think we can trust them?
I think the more that, sorry.
I think the issue is they're trying to figure out if they can trust us to do what we say we're going to do.
And I think it would be a show of good faith, especially because they've been treated not so well by our kind. It would be a good gesture to, to include them on things. And so that way, they would, I imagine that the more that we let them know that we appreciate them and we include them as like a part of Ashland, which at this point they are, I think, the question of trust, I think, they would feel more inclined to be on our side if we're treating them like they're on our side. I'm not saying that we haven't been. It's more about, just making sure that, when we have a function or we're having a party, I just want to make sure that they're invited. And in fact, they invited me out to barbecue tonight. So after this is done, I'll be going over there to visit. So he's been very cordial and very nice with me. I've been learning a whole lot of new phrases.
I have had Skeeter and Cletus have been working with me. I did not know about this barbecue tonight, but they have been very helpful in working with me.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for them to like, they need a seat and they need a title and stuff. But I think when we're having these meetings and stuff, if there's anything that I don't think it hurts to have them included, especially if it's because they're coming up with stuff. They've got their own thing. It'll be good to kind of check in and see what they're up to, and who knows, maybe they can be another power that we can add to our list of allies.
What sort of business or other matters do you think they ought to be excluded from, if anything?
I mean, I don't know how much, like, I've had very limited experience with the Bradoviches. That's part of the reason why I'm trying to go and like, meet with them outside of events. And yeah, I'm trying to understand them a bit more, because my first interaction with them was them showing up. And I think other than that, I haven't really seen them a whole lot, but Danny is very personable. But yeah, I think, there will be times I think, where we need to address like, things in Ashland. But I think if it's like kind of the meetings where we're just kind of talking about, vampire gossip, maybe we don't need to, bother them with that. But, I'm just asking to, include them as all.
Okay, I will admit that I have a tendency to avoid interaction, but it's a matter of taste, and I'm not too proud to admit that sometimes that can be a failing of mine.
So should we ask for like a dress code?
No.
I don't.
Is it the Bratoviches are very much. I was lower born when I was born in France, so I come from a quaint village, and the Bratoviches, they remind me of the people that were in my village. They're very homey, very quaint. I mean, I enjoy Danny, Skeeter, Cletus. I enjoy being with them, and I think that would be good. And as far as giving one of them a title would be something that would mean a lot of them. And if we were to do a meeting that maybe just the beginning of the meeting they were part of, and then they could leave, and then we could do our vampire gossip, as you say, Remus. So they could be they could be at the beginning and then leave.
What sort of a title?
I don't know. Remus, you're good with the titles.
I don't know if we need a title. I think they just want to be included is all. But like if we think a title would make them feel more included, but I mean we don't have titles. I mean aside from Ben, who's sweeper, Sophie, who's Baron. Revis, do you have a title? Seth,
I'm about to make that formalized.
We're working on that.
Okay. Who else has titles here?
Honestly, that's still.
Mine is Flames.
Mine is Knives, also Witch.
Well, are these titles or are these nicknames?
Those are nicknames, you two. They're not titles.
Hippopotamus.
City rolls.
Actually, one of the things to do is just turn it around, Remus. Say that you brought their questions to us, and we're very open to the idea, but we're not sure if they feel that they need a title or if they just want to come and sit like we do, for the most part. Just, that way that addresses the issue. It's their choice and not something we impose.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because if we give them a title, they might feel like, oh, wait, I just wanted to be invited to the party. I didn't want to be like an executive in this company. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
So then, in the spirit of Anarch civility, let's take it to a vote. Who is in favor of inviting the Bratoviches to participate on a regular basis?
I'm going to abstain because I have a business deal with them at the moment. So I'm abstaining.
Conflict of interest?
Conflict of interest, probably.
Haley's all, someone text Trish for a vote.
All those opposed?
Me. No.
I'm all for it.
I think it's no.
Should
we?
Is Trish texting right now?
Trish is not here.
Actually,
I know Haley is here. I'm just asking if Trish is texting.
Trish doesn't know about the meeting right now. What you guys are talking about?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She's hanging out with Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're redecorating.
So it seems like it's pretty much unanimous that we're good with them being in the loop.
Yes.
All right.
Who do we want to be their representative? Danny or somebody else in the family?
Trish.
I think I'm most comfortable with Danny so far. I don't know if he has responsibilities that he can, or that will prevent him from coming.
If
I don't
not,
know that
perhaps
I don't
his
know that
wife.
we want his wife attending.
Why?
Um,
She
she's very
seems
opinionated.
well. She's more educated, I think, than Danny.
Oh, really?
Like she seems to be.
I suppose it depends on your
Maybe.
point of view. Danny is used to handling Sabat, so he knows how to deal with vampires that aren't necessarily in full control of their emotions. I don't know enough about his wife to say the same, although it's probably true.
I
Maybe.
like her.
Maybe we can invite both of them to as some sort of a social, and then we can discuss how they would like to be included.
I
And
think
they can send their own representative.
I think that's fair.
Skeeter is just a child, but she is very mature, and Cletus has the mind of a child, so I would not say that we would have that. So,
Wait, is Skeeter the one that you said you said Skeeter's a child?
yes,
Didn't you also say Skeeter drove you?
yes.
Remus just kind of looks over, getting Remus's point instantly.
It's
Well,
it's the family car. I'm not permitted to drive their car, and
you
so-
know, in the countryside, you know, kids have a lot of responsibility. I know people can learn to drive a lot earlier.
Yeah, tell that to a cop at Ashland PD when they pull over a 13-year-old behind the wheel.
she only,
maybe
she only occasionally
That's
goes
when
over the
you
curve.
charm him.
Just occasionally.
maybe that's not the best.
I'm glad I'm driving you home tonight.
Okay.
And are we done then? So, first of all, Your Grace, thank you, and I accept your offer.
Your Grace.
Offer?
Okay.
Second of all, as I've discussed with both you and Ben, success and failure has its own rewards, one of which will be coming to Ashland.
In what
That's
form?
not cryptic at all.
Yeah, I understood that perfectly.
In the form of a vampire.
Okay, who?
So we're getting a visitor.
We are getting a visitor, and I will be happy to inform the sweeper of their identity and their position, and I will allow him to decide who gets to know that information other than the Baron, because I'm not sure I wouldn't be compromising something my sect wants necessarily out at this point.
So is it another Setite?
Huh?
Is it another Setite?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's all you had to say.
I'm not one to pry into clan business if I don't need to. So, okay.
Do you know what they're coming by for? What are they expecting?
I know where they'll be arranging for their haven. Once again, it's information I will give to you, and you can decide how it share. I will give you their name, and I will be able to give you a picture.
All right, sounds good.
On the point of havens, when I was in Portland, pretty much you only told people you were close with where you lived. I'm sure there were ways of others finding out the prince's people and so forth. And I know we've kept things a little informal here, but how do you all want to handle that?
I think we need to start setting up ground rules. We're getting surrounded by people who have all these other rules and systems and ways of communicating, and we really don't have any of that. We've got to figure all that out.
I do think on one hand, there is some wisdom in keeping your haven private in the sense of if you don't trust other people, you obviously don't want them to, hurt you while you're vulnerable, or hurt your things. But on the other hand, we've had enough encounters here at people's havens that if we don't know where to find you, then we can't help you.
There's two problems. One is the political system in both the Camarilla and the Sabbat. The Sabbat use a communal haven, and it's heavily defended from all appearances and our little experience with it. And the Cam uses havens as a form of domain, which they hand out and parcel out to their citizens. Haven, in many cases in the Camarilla City, is something you have to earn.
And
it's not just given to you. It's not inherently a right. You have to earn that.
Until then, where do you sleep?
You sleep where the prince tells you to sleep.
You sleep where the prince tells you to sleep, or you sleep with your sire.
That makes sense. That was my experience.
That was my
A little
experience.
snicker from Damaris over there.
Not sleeping with
So
my sire.
there's philosophical issues all across the board with it. I mean, you're going to have an ex-Sabbat, as an example, who would think communal living is the norm. And you're going to have someone come from a camp city and go like, everyone knows where your havens are? And just not be real happy, because it's the opposite of what they've lived. Havens are normally really well defended in a camp city, typically because the Sabbat come in and try and stake them, drain their blood, So there's reasons for some of it. What you do here is based on your experience here, and it's anarch, so you get to set the rules. But think about who you're inviting in. I guess what I'm saying.
All this to say, if you are moving to a new haven and you don't want to share that location with any of the rest of us, I will honor that request. If you don't mind, then I will honor that request as well. Obviously, I'm not giving out locations. I just mean, if we happen to know where you live, we happen to know where you live.
Thing is with nobody outside this group I trust. Some of you have been to my haven, even though now it is more fortified with wards and stuff, since we've been having problems with Sabbat coming in and staking our people and taking them away. If I'm in trouble and you guys don't know where I'm at, then I'm really in trouble.
So do we want there to be a rule where the Baron or someone is going to know where everyone's at? Or we let people know, yeah, you've got a haven, you choose who you want to know. You can tell people it's like living anywhere else, but keep in mind, if you tell no one and then you're in trouble, how are you going to get help?
Right.
So it's a trade-off.
I always thought, from my limited understanding of the sweeper position, that the sweeper was the one responsible for knowing where havens were, basically. So I didn't really think anything of it when I came to your city. You guys said, well, we all pretty much live together except a couple of us that don't. Because that's
as far as I've seen through other sweepers across the nation, it's not necessarily where they live, it's who they are, how long they're going to be there, and what they are. If you can tell what their clan is, what their career is, if they have one, all that stuff. But yeah, as far as where people hang out, where they haven, it's either as a group, like, some anarch towns, it's like gangs. They're just gangs. I mean, just straight up. And other places, they're a little more formal, but that's typically if they're like closer in a cam town, because a lot of these places are just part of cam cities. It's not like the anarchs have their own town or like a city. I don't think I've ever been to another Anarch City, a small town that's
I think-
maybe 5 minutes from a Cam city? Sure, but
I think
we're
we
unique.
may be one of the very first ones.
So maybe we set a rule so that I would say, from my opinion, is that the Baron would be the one who knows that if you're going to be taking up residence within the city, then you have to notify the Baron where you are. And that would be part of living within your city. The rest of us, I mean, if they want to share that with us, that is fine. But if someone wants to take residence within the city, that is a rule that we would establish at that point.
Now, I'm going to interject an interesting point. We already have other vampires within the city who have residents here that we are unaware of their location.
I know where a lot of people live, but that's because
You know them.
I've had dealings with them.
But in terms of like the new people that are coming to Ashland because they want to be in an Anarch City because we were the first one, you know, are we gonna have you catalog like their locations?
I don't know if that's warranted. I think on one hand, the reason that they're here is because they don't like the way that the CAM runs things, and part of that is, encroaching on their business. And I find value in letting people handle their business as long as it's not hurting anyone.
I think that's fair. I do understand that point, but I think that one of the things that we have to, especially if we want people to start taking us like this council more seriously, is that there has to be a hierarchy. Even if it is anarchs, like we have to let them know, you know, this, like, these are the rules. Like, this is the person that you are crossing when you break those rules. Um, just because I think that a lot of times if we look too much like a puppy willing to roll over to let you pat our belly, we end up with more situations where um, Katarina comes in, starts dealing drugs in our domain, and then when we tell her to stop, she starts making deals with us in order to get her to stop. Not just, hey, go away. You know,
Katerina doesn't do drugs, by the way.
Katarina. That was her name, right, Jerome?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were no. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
No, no. Yeah, she's a problem that we've actually, yeah, no, you were there when because I think
Iterate.
yeah, you and Ben got blown up in front of a cabin that she was in. I think, yeah, I think Damaris is somebody related to Damaris
My
finally put an end to her.
don't worry about it.
That would be my sire.
My
Yeah.
broodmate is also named Katerina,
Oh, okay.
so that's why.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's
So,
Katarina with an E in front.
so you're suggesting that it's essentially a security matter to keep people in line? Anyone who's new to the city, they need to know that we have this over them.
I think that there needs to be, and I don't know because I've never been to any other city, but I mean,
It's hospitality to announce yourself when you come into anybody's city. I don't.
Oh, you muted
You
yourself.
just muted yourself.
Whoops. I'm not too sure how the anarchs do it. I know how the Camarilla do it. When you enter somebody's city, you present yourself. It's polite. It's letting them know that you're there. It also protects you if something goes down.
I
That
suppose
way, you're not somebody's patsy either.
on one hand, um, it depends on how much they're going to be willing to trust me with that information.
I mean,
But
it
on
does.
the other hand, if they're coming to Ashland, then they will have heard about the way that we handle things differently, and maybe that's something that they want.
I think that, and I think the fact that you would come to even, well, I mean, I don't know, like my my thought with this is that this will help us kind of have an idea of like what the population is in Ashland, because right now there's a lot of question marks all over the place of who's where, who's doing what. We don't know how any of these people are feeding. We don't know how any of these people, I mean, other than if the police lets us know that something's going down. But if somebody presents themselves to you and you can read their aura and you can tell, okay, this person is going to be a problem, then we can make the decision on if we were going to let them into the town or not. Because I think right now it is the Wild West. Anybody can just kind of come in and cause trouble and just leave, and then we have to clean up the mess. Unless we want to keep paying out to the cam or having to go and like squash Sabat packs because they kind of think they can just come in and run the place. I think we do have to put a foot down somewhere.
Isn't there a way that we could get the word out that if they want to come to Ashland, they got to go through the sweeper?
There is a way, and we discussed it, me and Ben, and I think the Baroness, that there are codes that are used quite commonly that tell even neonate vampires where to go. There
That's
are
a
simple
thing, right?
vampiric codes that are used, put on markings and buildings
Like
that are
graffiti
used.
and such.
Yes.
Yeah,
Go
and
here.
I mean, can we even put it in what's his face's paper?
Well, yeah, that's a
You know,
not all
let them know. You know, when they come to town, they need to contact Ben. Just let them know that they're here.
yeah, I think having a better idea of who's in our town and what's going on. I don't think that's gonna. And I understand the worry, Baron, that this is going to infringe upon kind of the point of being an anarch, like infringing on their freedom. But we're not asking them to swear fealty to you. We're not asking them to, you know, they have to. We're not doing like a tax on all of the blood that they harvest. I think it's a show of good faith, and maybe it shouldn't be you, because putting you in a position where you're meeting every vampire is probably going to lead to somebody trying to attack you. So we have the sweeper do it. He's separate from you. He can handle himself. He can punch somebody in the face if need be. But I think that we do need some sort of, you know, people are still free to do whatever they want, but we also want to make sure that, because this is, you guys were chasing after a person who's doing awful stuff. Like, that is not the first time, the marshal is telling us that that he wants us to hunt somebody who is um, associated with drugs and other terrible things in our domain. And, you know, if we had the opportunity to turn that person away, I'm pretty sure you would, wouldn't you?
We got rid of an unfavorable person before.
Yeah, and I think that if we let people know that, Ashland is a place where anarchs can be free, but we're not just going to take any crazy person who's going to go leave a school bus full of bodies on an overpass and think that it's, hey, anarchy, why not?
Well,
Anarchy
yeah.
does not equal anarchy.
Well,
Yeah.
This comes back to a discussion we had before about what part of the traditions is going to be part of the anarch city, and comes back. We're not doing the accounting, a lot of the other things, but one of them is vampires aren't visible, no exposure to the public. We get held to that standard all the time without making it a policy. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit past the time where we went, this is one of the few traditions we say we honor. We have arrangements that hang on us honoring that. To say that we're not going to is really kind of counterproductive.
On that point, I mean, this is. I love that we're having this discussion. This is actually really helpful for me as the Baron to get a better understanding. I'm just one person, and I have a lot less experience living in society than most of you. So putting our heads together is a better way to come up with good policies than just relying on me. So on the point of the masquerade, I do think it's important. I do think it's something that we need to uphold, but at the same time, I'm in a vampire rock band. My official line is hiding in plain sight, and I purposely portray a character, a persona that is not Sophie Lore, in order to distance myself from the facade of the band.
Remus would just kind of look at you and go, "You wouldn't want to know how many toreadors actually publicly perform."
Okay, my point being, I don't want people to say, "Oh, she's a hypocrite because look at what she's doing," but this is things that she is requiring us to do.
Well, but we're not asking people to, live in shadows and, never, you can't go out to, mingle with people. All we're asking is that if you're going to go out, maintain the masquerade, and, we can use you as like the poster child for kind of what that is. Because I mean, as far as like the breaches that we've had, you've not really been like an issue. It's definitely doable to be an active member of a community without letting people, letting especially the humans and other authorities know that, that we are what we are. But I think that this would be a good idea, especially because we do have hunters that come through. We have the marshals that come through. There are a lot of eyes on Ashland, and I think that if the anarchs that are coming in, if they know that Ashland is an anarch city, but they don't know who we're regularly having to evade, like that'll be a problem, because it's not going to be just our messes that we have to clean up. We'll have to clean up theirs. And I think that if we want to engender some responsibility in them, they need to know who's going to come and clean up their mess and who is going to deal with them should they break the masquerade. I don't think that there's, I don't think there's any question of like you being a hypocrite, because we can easily go, okay, well, when has Sophie ever broken the masquerade? You can't find an example, because if you had, she wouldn't be doing what she's doing, But
there's something very important that's even more unique about our city, is that we are not just the vampires here. I mean, we've got the werewolves from the neighbors, and we've got the mages over here. So if someone comes into our city, they're not just dealing with the anarchs. We have agreements with other powers here. It's so that they're not just working with us. And when I was in France, my sire and I, we lived within the sewers, and that was our haven. The prince did not know exactly where we were sleeping each night, because we did not know we were sleeping each night. We were constantly on the move, but the prince knew we were in the sewers. So if someone were to come, they could say that they were moving into this part of town per se. I mean, they do not have to give an exact address, but I mean that would be with the sweeper of how you decide. But I mean, I really think if there's someone is going to be coming into our city, your city, they need to not just announce themselves, but we need to know where they are going to be. So if they do break the faith with not just us, but these other power groups, that there is repercussions that can be handled quickly.
Henri brings up a fantastic point, is that if they just walk into a club thinking that they can just start feeding, but it turns out it's the Glasswalkers Club, like, is that going to, that's probably not a good thing. So being able to, not just figure out where they're going to go, but also let them know, like, okay,
don't go there.
Yeah, welcome to Ashland. These are the areas that you shouldn't cause trouble in. Don't go to Lithia Park.
How are those hotspots usually communicated?
Markings.
Yeah, markings, the sweeper, the baron. It really just depends on the group of anarchs in the area and what they do.
Typically, you have a rail line. Typically, the easiest way, even now, is rail line travel, especially if you're not looking to be detected, by the way. And I've had a look at your rail line. It's a very easy way into the city, to everywhere in the city, actually. Um, and so typically, as the trains slow down, if you look, you'll find graffiti. The hobos use it, vampires use it. I'm assuming other supernaturals put similar markings out. I wouldn't know. I tend not to want to be around warm and fuzzies, but that's just a personal preference.
Yeah, it might be a good idea for us to kind of help incoming anarchs, especially ones that are entering in good faith, to know that they're not, stepping into, they don't go too far outside of the city and wind up running into a werewolf.
Okay.
Or Adam's territory.
Oh yeah, Lithia Park. Is that where he's still at?
I mean, I don't think we'll see him for a while yet.
It's probably for the. Where is he in Lithia Park though? Is that where he's resting, or?
I think so.
Do you know Flames?
Yeah, Adam is in Lithium Park.
We should probably make that like a no.
Like a no-fly zone.
Yeah, or just in general, we don't need anybody accidentally disturbing his sleep and waking him up cranky. I can attest.
I
that's
don't.
not good.
I mean, I don't know if they're gonna. They would have to try pretty damn hard to wake him. I don't know if you should tell people to leave Lithia Park alone for fear of that they might just get more curious than if you just let it be.
I think I agree. I don't think we'll see him for a while yet. But also, if we tell people to avoid Lithia Park, then I think that would give other entities opportunity to
reason, suspect. Yeah, I just
there are ways to mark boundaries which simply say act with caution. It doesn't say why, just says act with caution. If you're going here, we're not going to tell you what's there. Just be aware of the fact that it's not someplace we feel comfortable going.
enter at your own risk.
Yes.
And you know how to make these markings and read them?
I have some knowledge that can probably be applied, and between me and the sweeper, I'm sure we can come up with something we can apply.
And I'm sure you, Sophie, as a Toreador, should have a lot of say in like the visual depictions of these markings. Because are you going to want people looking at some ugly mark and then knowing that that's identified with you?
No, don't do that.
Yep, he did it.
It's not graffiti. It's Banksy graffiti going on.
You're not doing 3-dimensional images on building walls. I'm telling you now.
We could just do like a little statuette of Sophie that we just leave places and it's just pointing in different directions.
And artistically pointing too.
Yeah,
like the ancient sculptures you'd see. They're like,
right.
Yeah.
We all know what happened to those ancient sculptures when the anarchs were around. Mustaches is the least of what you would have to worry about.
Capital punishment for defacing the statues of Christians.
That would be funny though if we turned it into like posters of like your band and just had you like pointing in different directions, and then like we turned it into like advertisement for your group, but also there's a secret message.
Yeah, any poster where your arms are like this, that means don't go in there.
Yeah, don't do
it. You should not do that with rock groups. There are already tons of them looking for hidden messages in records and album covers.
Oh, that's true.
But anyhow, there's a way to do that. We can loosely set boundaries without telling people, other than like caution. And that's up to us. You tell me and the sweeper what you want. We'll work on something that conveys a message that's appropriate to what you want.
Well, Ben, you've been an anarch for a while. when you enter a city, do you look for the markings?
Well, one, sometimes you already know an anarch that's from that place that's just gone elsewhere. I mean, more than the other sects, anarchs do tend to go from place to place uh, just because they want to be free. You know, that's kind of the thing. You don't want to be nailed down by a tyrant. As long as you have some freedom and somebody can't just order you to your death, then you're good. That's what you're trying to get away from. And I think what we're doing here is just to make sure there's a good neighbor policy. Yeah, we've got some open doors, but they can't be wide open for everyone. It's not like we're trying to deal with a million anarchs in our town. We got like, what, a couple dozen at most, maybe with a few other supernaturals, the mages and werewolves and stuff. Not that tough to keep track of them all, at least not for now. So we should be willing to say, yeah, here's some markings. Follow these. Then the rest of you know what the markings are so that all of you can see it too. But yeah, we can figure that out and let people know where to go, uh, where they can set up shop. And once we know that, I can let the Baron know who's in town.
Sounds like a good plan.
Do you all have time tonight to talk about some of these other policies that we've kind of left ambiguous? Or do you have other things that you need to do?
I would like to get some blood, but
we can order delivery.
It's not DiGiorno.
Szechuan beef.
Yeah, that's fine as long. But I really need to feed before I don't want to. I don't want to lose control of my beast.
I can.
Well, question, Persephone, did you take the blood from the van?
Was not given to me.
No, I offered it.
I was going to say it was offered.
Yeah.
Oh, was it offered?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
6 plus 4 is 10. That puts you
okay,
in
that's fine.
A decent category.
Okay, never mind. Retract all that.
Well, I mean, we could still order delivery if somebody needs a snack.
I do not need a snack, but this is something that I have mentioned in the past. It is more of the, I do not know how to say it.
Your cravings.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's becoming difficult. I have been very honorable. I have followed my vow. I have not taken a life in quite some time, and it's getting past that point where as they say, the beast may make decisions for me. So at some point soon, I need to go hunting.
Sounds like you should have gone up to Klamath Falls.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
Revis just kind of looks over at you and goes, "So you require a kill periodically?"
Yes.
Interesting. Raised that way? Acquired?
I have been killing since I was a human child.
Raised that way. Okay, just curious.
It's since my Stephanie has been taken from me. I need a new Stephanie.
So, do you hunt or do you just need to kill?
Yes.
That was an answer to both?
Yes.
Henri, were you a serial killer when you were alive?
I do not like that word. I'm afraid the terminology. It's very crude.
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds better in French.
Yeah, in particular.
Liar murderer.
Serial killer.
Really?
Yeah, in particular. Yeah, it was a little killer. Yeah.
Well, since there are people here with sensibilities, we're on the verge of offending. I will be happy to accompany you out of town to a place without kindred and supernatural locations where you can quench that urge without endangering the city.
Okay, I'm good. Benjamin has said as long as it is the bad guys that it will cause less questions.
Yeah, I don't care. That's your thing.
I appreciate the circumspection.
So I'm just trying to be honest. It has been quite some time. So Rivas, you and I, we shall go hunting together. I would appreciate to see how you hunt as well.
And thank you for your restraint, Henri.
You're welcome. It's when I saw Damaris's sacrifice when she joined the Anarchs, and it made my joining the Anarchs easier. I was about to be kicked out of the Camarilla anyway, so it made it quite. I've gone from town to town throughout the United States and Mexico and France and so Canada. It's nice to settle down for quite some time.
Maybe we can teach you some subterfuge and diplomacy skills while we're out hunting.
I know a little subterfuge. I know a little policy as well. Okay. Now, I would like to go hunting with you. This would be very fantastic.
Are you right now? Is Henri's face? Do you look like President Trudeau or?
No, Marcel.
Or Marcel? Okay.
If you could actually see his face, it would be the pallor. The whiter it gets, the closer they are.
Well,
anyhow, what other topics did you wish to raise, Baroness?
Okay, let's just go over the traditions in general, just so that everybody's clear. So obviously we've got the masquerade. That's one that we're keeping. Domain. We sort of have been respecting that, but I suppose we ought to be a little more specific about parts of town. Anyone have thoughts on that one?
Well, the only thing is that if you get too many, then you start infringing on each other's feeding grounds.
Right.
So somehow we need to establish feeding grounds so that we're not oversaturating a certain part of town.
I think areas where you have a business, either that you are that you legally own, or where perhaps you have ghouled the proprietor and therefore essentially own it. That seems to me like a legitimate domain, but I don't think we should be able to just claim a particular area just because we want that area. I think there needs to be something a little more official. What do you think?
Well, yeah, because I've given Rivas pretty much my hunting grounds. Because
actually, I'm not using them, so I realized you had, but I have my own herd at this point, and I appreciate it, but they're free to be yours if that's what you want to do.
Should we be encouraging new kindred that enter the city to create herds? Is that how we handled the domain instead of worrying about like hunting grounds? Because that's nebulous.
Does anybody have Camarilla lore?
Yes.
I do.
Also, I just realized I don't have a character sheet out.
Uh-oh. If this was large, you relent.
It's only been 2.5 hours.
I know.
You're the Baron.
And you may have just cursed us.
So if you have a point of Camarilla lore, 1 point is sufficient. You would know that one of the most common methods of feeding in a Camarilla city is they designate, and it's usually pretty crappy, they designate certain areas of town as the rack.
Yeah, I feel like there are certain parts of town, for example, bars and clubs, where there's a lot of traffic and it's a little chaotic, where people can come and feed without too much trouble. I think that should be fairly standard. But again, if it's a club that you own or control, then you have the right to be more picky about who you let feed there.
What if we have a symbol that we use, that we mark for places that are like our domain, and then we have a symbol that represents like a sort of like free range area?
Ooh, glyphs from Blade.
Yep.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about Blade.
As me and this Ben kind of look at each other going, yeah, we talked about that just a little while ago. And what I'm hearing is you guys are using the word domain almost in conjunction with your havens and business. And in the Camarilla, domain is not equal to any of those.
Okay, please elaborate.
Domain is a territorial issue within the Camarilla and not
like places of places that you own.
Yeah. So
normally your domain is where your haven normally is in your domain.
Correct. But she's using the word almost interchangeably, and this is going to cause confusion because if you speak to someone, Baroness, and say, yes, this is so and so's domain, and they're from the CAM, they're going to automatically think this location and a fair hunk around it is someone's domain because that's the way they perceive it. Domain is territory. Haven is a location. They are not equal. And businesses frequently are none. So feeding.
So in that sense, as far as domain, how should we handle domain then?
Okay, well, I'll use the example of the sorceress who now runs a gang within the city. Technically, we've granted her domain. The gang's land is now her domain. That's what we've technically done. Even though we didn't intend to do it when we went to her party and said, yeah. But by everyone going and us not knowing who she was and what she represented, inadvertently, the city of Anarch said, yep, you're a sorceress. You now control this gang, and that's your domain.
Okay. And can domain be confiscated or
sure can. Usurped? It sure can. But the first time you go to do that, you better be able to back it up because otherwise you won't be able to make it work after that. So we have an example where we can kind of let it slide because I don't recall if you went or just the group went. If it was just the group and you weren't present, you can say they made a mistake.
To Roxy's club?
Yep. You can say
I was not there. I haven't seen her since the only time that I've met her was when Colin and I ran into her at the augury.
So you can simply say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was your intent. And we kind of need to have a discussion on what your intent in my city is, because my people will be cleaning up your messes. And you can take it from there. Maybe there's an accommodation to be made. Maybe there isn't.
Interesting.
But you have to start somewhere. And that's the perfect example from what I've seen so far. I know we have other people that have made other claims, but I'm not familiar with them. I don't know what our policies or who said what to them. And so, you can kind of set an example of where if people have staked out areas as quote unquote their domain and not just their haven, then hey, we understand that you thought this was all yours. We want you to give us some information on what you're doing in this area because we're the people that police the city. And if you make a mess in this city, we're the ones all the others outside are going to hold accountable for cleaning up your mess. So talk to us. Tell us something.
So then, first off, do we want to have domains or not?
That's up to you guys.
I think territories is a better term.
Well, it also gets away from domain.
Because we're not Camarilla.
I think territory works out better because territories shrink, territories expand. And I think that as long as we use it as territory, then we run because I think the other thing that we'll run into is if we start calling it domains, then if we start going and asking Kindred who have already been here, like, hey, you're claiming this is your domain, what are you doing here? It will feel very much like we're policing it. So I think if we start referring to it as territories, we'll get away from that stigma, but also it'll give more of an idea that, we're all creatures hunting and eating in the same biome. You have your territory, but, your territory is what it is.
And you might have to share it with someone else if too many supernaturals come into the city. It's important that we make that point as well, that it's not just us. We share the city with others, and a lot of people don't realize that we're cognizant of all these things. And we have arrangements. You got somebody new comes in who's lost, say, their sire to a werewolf and hates them on sight, and then he goes, "Oh my God, I know where some werewolves are, guys. Let's get a tanker full of gas and run it right into their club. Burn them suckers."
And right as Rivas says that, Ben's phone chimes. The beefy.
Oh, no.
Of course. So he pulls it out and sees what's going on.
It's a text message from Damaris.
It's a picture of a dude with basically this guy. The way that it's described in there is that he is a tall kind of guy wearing basically could pass for one of like the models for like a goth slash like a cult clothing store. He's got long hair and earrings. And I'm just gonna look at Ben. I'm like, do you recognize him?
Does he look like somebody I've seen before, Jerome? No.
Does it look like somebody I've seen before?
Are we passing around the phone at this point?
No, but she's leaning over and peeking.
She's nosy.
So
you're one of those girlfriends. Who are you texting? That sounded like a girl, Beefy.
Who is texting you?
So looking at
Who are you talking to? His name is Jesse. Well, he sounds hideous.
Yeah.
What are you wearing, Jesse?
We live together.
She'll speak up. Not sorry to interrupt the conversation, but Mr. Vidius just sent me a picture of this dude that's at the occult store. Asked me if I recognized him, and I did not.
No.
Mr. V,
are we passing it around?
I'll show the picture to y'all. Yeah, I won't text it to everybody's phone, but I'll show it to Sophie and whoever wants to see it.
So being of the goth scene, do I recognize this person?
Nope.
Jerome, did we ever get a description or a photo of Wacy Romanowski?
We did have a picture of him.
Yes.
Does this guy look like
tonight, by the way?
No, does not look like him at all.
This guy is there at the store now.
Does Sophie recognize this guy?
No.
It's Colin.
It's not my picture, is it, Jerome?
Yeah, no.
So he's at the occult store right now. Is
Mr.
V wanting us to do something? Because normally he contacts Ben.
Well, that's my first thought too, but he hasn't specified that he needs us to do something, but he did ask if we knew him. I don't, so that concerns me that he's sending that picture to us.
Maybe
Yeah, I don't recognize him.
text him back and see what he wants us to do about it.
And
Well, I did ask him, if he was human or not. He hasn't responded yet, so I don't know if he even knows that answer.
Yeah,
Is this an
'cause
occult book?
He didn't look at his phone yet.
Oh,
Is this an occult bookstore that you control, Flames?
no, it's not. I know of it, but I'm not. It's not my territory. Though I suppose I should, huh?
It's the Dragon Marsh Occult Bookstore. Some of you
Yes.
have been there before. It's been a while since it's popped back up. So Mr. Vidius comes back and he says no.
Not human.
Do we need to go check it out then?
I mean, yeah, it's my job.
We'll be there. I'll text him back. We'll go down there and check it out.
If I was looking better, I would go with you. But I think I will stay.
Yeah, I stay here. If the rest of you need to talk, that's fine. I can go. Babe.
I
obviously
can
do whatever you need to do.
I can back you up. I don't know. My knowledge of the traditions is probably not as well. I'm studying, but it's probably not as up to par as kind of what you all are doing. But I don't like the idea of you going to deal with this by yourself. So I'll go with
Well,
you.
I think Damaris was going to go with him.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I did get the message. I suppose I might as well go. Not sure why he texted it to me first, but
That is
probably because it was in the occult bookstore.
curious.
okay. Well, in that case, I'll back up. I'll let you two handle it, unless you want me to come along.
We can stay on standby.
All right.
How far is the bookstore from here?
From where this is at, maybe 3 miles down the road. I mean, you have to go through downtown traffic, though.
Let us know if you need us.
Will do. And Ben and Flames take off.
Yep.
Okay.
I do think we should continue talking about traditions, just hashing out some specifics.
Sure.
I mean, might as well.
So real quick, while you guys are presumably talking about politics and traditions and all that,
Most fun things.
Yes, all that good informational stuff. So the two of you head out, and it doesn't take terribly long, maybe 15, 20 minutes to get through the traffic downtown to get to the small, kind of nice little shopping center block that has the Dragon Marsh on it. The building itself, the way it's set up is it has a bunch of like small trees and shrubs and whatnot. So it's the people who built this particular area up kind of did it with the angle of making it look a little fantasy, kind of like if you picked up this particular block where this store is at and put it next to the Shakespeare Festival like area, it would fit right in. So it's got kind of a little bit a little bit of artsy, little bit of kind of fantasy look to it. Really well kept.
Is this a real place?
Huh? The Dragon
Is
Marsh?
this a real place?
No, it's not.
No?
Well, yes, but not here.
Okay, you got my
like-
hopes up.
Yes, like
Do we know
really
who
cool.
owns
like
the store?
Angio's, this is actually a real place as well, but just not here.
Oh snap! Okay, cool.
Do we know who owns this store? Have we?
To the best of
we
your
know that
knowledge, nobody
information?
does.
Okay.
Somebody should.
But it is the building itself is set up kind of like an English cottage, with the the glass windows. They've got a couple of signs. Most of what's posted up there are like the flyers for stuff that students or people locally are doing.
What time is it right now?
The time right now, it's about 11 o'clock. So it's getting close to closing time.
Okay. Is it like happening in there right now? Is it
It is.
busy? Or?
Yes, it is. And it's one of these really interesting. It's one of these really interesting shops that when you I'm assuming you both walk in. Damaris, you've actually been here before.
Yeah, I
it
remember.
has like anything esoteric you could possibly want. from crystals to different types of quote unquote magic to self-help books to
like a new age bookstore kind of a thing. Seems like
yeah, but a little bit more hardcore. Not like your Stephanie was not his hacker. Stephanie, that was Bear.
Yes.
Anyway, so there was something in the chat. But yes, on the inside here, and in fact, there's actually a section for some Ren Fair clothing where some people have made some stuff for consignment. If anybody wants to buy them, it's a little bit more inclusive that way. And like up front, they've got jewelry. It's not just your typical like, oh my goodness, some new age hippie threw up a bunch of hippy dippy books in here and hug a tree and that was it.
Man.
George wants to own this place. This place sounds rad.
I got dibs.
The original place is actually fashioned after, I don't know if it's even still in business anymore, especially after COVID, but it used to exist next to the Mission Inn in Riverside, California.
Okay. Yeah. I want to go there. Sorry, this place sounds awesome.
Okay.
Cool. All right, well,
when we go in, do we
Ben
notice the goth guy?
Yeah, he seems to be perusing right now some jewelry up front.
Okay.
Can I aura? I'm gonna aura percept him.
Same here.
Sure, go ahead.
Let's see. That is. For guys, that's perception and alertness. Empathy, right? Where's my empathy? Okay, cool. 7. Okay. Uh, 1, 2, 3.
Did you roll in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
One success.
What'd you get, Ben?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that specialty thing.
One success here.
One success. Okie doke. So, Rachel, as you're looking at him, Ben, you're looking at him. You can tell he's got a pale aura. That's really about it. Damaris, as you're looking at him, you can tell that obviously he is a vampire, so he does have the pale aura, or he's a very gothic-looking human with a pale aura merit. But you also can tell that he has very little in the way of emotion, as far as you can tell. Which is odd. Usually, when you pick up anybody with aura perception, it's kind of like a Skittles kind of rainbow sort of thing.
Right.
Like, are they angry? Are they anxious? Are they happy? He's pretty baseline on a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Kind of a non-committal sort of color, despite the fact he seems interested in the jewelry.
Okay. I'm gonna just kind of lean forward because I think I'm behind Ben, and I'll just say he's got a pale aura. He's a vampire, but I got like no emotion off of him.
Okay. Has that meant anything to you? Have you ever seen that before?
Have I? I don't think I have. Have I?
Oddly enough, no.
No, that's
You have seen it one other time, actually. Now that I think about it, you have. Only one other time.
okay. Can I roll an intelligence check to see if I remember?
No. I
'Cause
can
I
tell
sure
you.
should don't.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Michael.
Have I met him in character? You're talking about Michael from. Oh. Right. Okay.
Gosh, dang. Blast from the past.
That was the big
Okay.
thing about Michael. Michael often did things and was just never illustrated any sort of emotion. So that was why he got embraced for whatever reason. There's
Is
like,
this a
that would be
player?
cool. Let's get him.
Is this like
Yeah,
a former
emotionless.
player?
No, NPC.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Full ARPAN days.
Sling blade.
Yes.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had
I
some interesting
only ever
kills.
saw it one other time, and that was the whole reason that he was even embraced, was because he had hardly any emotion, just very factual.
Okay.
In fact, I think he got somebody killed once.
And then looking around at like the company we have, and then looking back at Flames, like Ixnay on the Ildk around here. Just saying.
And so a lady comes walking right up, and she looks at Benjamin and
And
Damaris.
that's how that movie ended.
And she says, "Oh well, if you're looking for anything about auras, my lord, we have a number of books off to the side that you might use, perhaps a Carillion camera or something to observe with. We don't sell those here, but we do happen to have the manuals for them."
Do you happen to have any jewelry that could help with that? I noticed you have some of that over there.
Oh, mood jewelry. Yes, of course. Right this way. And she leads you up to the counter.
My lord.
Is it so would that be then next to this goth guy who is also looking at the jewelry? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So then, now that I'm closer, I'm looking at the stuff he's looking at. Does it seem like he's looking for anything in particular? Like he's mulling over something specific?
Why don't you give me a intelligence and investigations check?
Okay.
And what are you doing in the meantime, Damaris?
I think I went to the other side of him, so almost like we're flanking him.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the jewelry as well, and I'm like, oh yeah, this stone, I know it does this and it detects this, but I'm just spouting bullshit at that point. Just watching.
Okay.
And yeah.
4 successes.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
It's clear he has some sort of method to his madness, but whatever it is, it's way beyond you.
Okay.
To the normal person, though, it would seem very random. So, but whatever he's doing, he's looking for something.
Gotcha.
You're just not sure, like, what lines up with what.
So when he's looking at this stuff and the other ladies like looking at things or whatever, I point out at what the dude's looking at and I go, interesting pieces you're mulling over there. You going for something specific? Seems like you're pretty intent on it.
So he turns and he looks. And he kicks the counter, not hard, but like sort of thing. And he says, "Oh yes, I apologize. I was completely distracted."
Oh, yeah, no problem. Just yeah, it's neat place here. First time here. Just noticed you're looking through that stuff. You new in town?
Oh, no, of course not.
Can't tell lies or deception, right? Or are we still doing that?
Is
he either telling the truth or not? I don't remember.
Look again. Yeah, no, it's something you can check.
Yeah.
So I will check his aura with that to see if he's just straight up lying to me or what's going on.
Go ahead and roll again.
When they do the aura perception thing, does anything happen to the eyes? I'm actually like, no? Okay, cool.
Nope.
4. So 3 total.
Okay.
Dang.
6 successes this time.
Nice. So Ben, you look him over, and when you read that, he doesn't seem to be lying. But if you hadn't gotten a good look at him like you did, again, he's displaying such a lack of emotion that it's hard to read him at all.
Okay. Gotcha.
But based on your gut, it seems like, yeah, he probably was distracted by whatever it was he was doing. And
okay. Says, Oh, well. So you've been in town for a bit, huh?
Yes, I have.
Hmm. Hey, this is weird. I seem like it seems like I recognize you from somewhere. You mind if I ask you some questions? Maybe not around prying ears or whatever, but just a few things.
So he kind of looks and he sees, of course, Damaris kind of looking at him, and he's like, "Very well." And so he turns to the lady at the counter and he says, "I know you are about to close here shortly, but if you would be so kind, I haven't quite decided, so I will take all three of these pieces." And she's just like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you." Between the three pieces, he's spending like $250.
Man, I miss Ren Fair. Sorry.
That'd be about how much you spend on 3 pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I wait for him to, gather his stuff, and then we lead him outside to like a spot in the parking lot that's more dark and like not surrounded by people.
Oh, well, he doesn't go too far away from the store.
Yeah, he knows
Okay.
better.
Yeah.
How far does?
I
far is
think
he willing
just
to go?
maybe around the corner or around the side
He
of the
goes
building.
maybe 15 feet away from the door.
Okay.
I mean,
It's under a street light specifically, but it's not like in the clear walk path of anybody coming in or out.
Okay, cool. All right, so with that and go. So, name's Ben. Nice to meet you.
Damaris.
And you are?
Troy.
Troy. Pleasure to meet you. So, on behalf of those denizens who live here, welcome to the free city of Ashland.
Oh, well, thank you.
Trying to find out your business. We've had some goings on recently, some rough and tumble types. So we're just making sure for security reasons that anybody who comes through has good intentions.
Oh, well, I assure you that I have good intentions. If you wish to vet me, you can always speak to Trudy Maxwell.
Trudy Maxwell.
So you're associated with Trudy.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
And she knows you're here too?
She was the one that told me of this location. So, yes.
Oh, okay.
So Ben
I
shoots
apologize.
a
I
text.
don't get out much or visit others.
So while Flames is talking, Ben shoots a text to Trudy saying, "Do you know a Troy you suggested the Dragon Marsh bookstore to?" See if she responds.
Okay.
Brittany is
Do you-
just going through her notes real quick.
So given that that Trudy's invited you here, are you planning on making Ashland a permanent home or just passing through?
I've actually been here about a year.
Oh boy.
As I said, I don't get out much. I don't socialize.
I don't think I remember.
Well, I can honestly say that we appreciate you not making any sort of mess.
If he's who I
We've
think,
had a bit of that lately.
I think I remember what he looked like.
So you've been here a year, and I'm looking at Ben. Nobody's known about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the norm so far. Just to keep you on the up and up, Troy, we're doing some housekeeping, so to speak, and might be a good idea if you ever head to another town. I get you don't go out much, but, things happen. And if you ever do go, let us know if you're headed out of town, if you're leaving, or if you know anybody else coming in town. I know you're somebody with Trudy. We get that, so appreciate that. But just so that everyone's safe and secure, we all know who we're living amongst. You know what I mean?
No, of course.
You're back.
So he kind of thinks for a second, like he's doing some some weird math for a moment. Hey, Todd, you might want to mute yourself too if you need to.
Yeah.
Trudy will text back, Troy, the true Bruja? Question mark.
You didn't know that.
Yeah, she did.
Okay, so you're throwing that out there. Okay.
Trudy did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. Alrighty.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh my.
Oh. Hey, mind if I ask your clan?
Bruja.
Ah, good to know. Got another one. Same here, just so you're aware. Yeah, dang. I'm mad. I didn't know you were in the area. I thought I was pretty much alone.
Well, as I said, I do tend to keep to myself.
Which is another, not to be rude, but weird thing for a typical Bruja. There a reason for that? Something happened or what?
So he rattles off a long sentence that sounds very very quizzical. I'm not going to structure the whole thing, but it sounds very quizzical and very theoretical. Like it's like one of those guys rattling off a theorem sort of thing. It's like a long string of like, holy crap, that's a theory. Like sort of thing. You're just like, whoa. And it's when he rattles off, it's like I can just tell you without even making a roll. It's like way past your knowledge. You're just like, okay, that's a Jeopardy question I never heard, sort of thing. And he says, "Does that make any sense to you?"
No.
That would be
sorry, but yeah, I mean, you know what? That's fine. Neither here nor there. Just glad we finally got to meet. If you ever, need a fellow brewer or whatever, let me know. In fact, I'm the sweeper in the area. Let me give you my number in case you need to. You need to contact me directly for anything. You got a phone or anything on you?
And his eyes kind of flutter for a second. He says, "Oh no, I've got it."
You've got it?
I'm sorry, that's out of character. Way out of character.
How do you did you just read my mind or something?
No. It's far too difficult to explain. I apologize.
Okay. All right. Sure.
He says, but to confirm, he just, looks at his phone real quick and he says, rattles off your number.
Yeah. You're going to have to teach me that one night. I'm going to come back and ask you to do that. And I'm going to try to understand it this time. I might have to talk to some smart people first. But no, yeah, good deal. And Ben looks to Flames. You got any other questions?
I guess, yeah, the one. I mean, why didn't you tell anybody that you were here? I mean, it's been a year, and clearly we should have known about that prior, but I mean, there is a Baron here, and isn't it usually appropriate to make yourself known, at least, if you don't introduce yourself?
Baronies typically have a varying degree of rules.
That's true.
In fairness, when I showed up, you were in the midst of a civil war. And by that point, I figured I'd just be better that I would lay low.
Okay. Well, that's fair, I suppose.
All right.
Was there
all right. Well,
appreciate it, Troy. You take care. And again, if you need anything, you give me a ring.
Of course. Thank you for your time, and I apologize for any trouble that I might have caused. Which even when he's talking, he's not emoting, really. It's right. Weird. Yeah, he's not giving much in the way of emotion.
Yeah. And you said he looks like a goth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very interested in this future love triangle between Seth, Ben, and the true goth Bruja.
So then he starts walking back to his car with Flames. And then he turns to Flames and goes, "Yeah. So since Mr. V sent that to you, let him know he's on the up and up, and he's one of us.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll text back. Checked him out. Bruja knows Trudy. So far, seems okay.
Void of emotion.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean, not that that's necessary, but yeah.
Mr. Vidius sends you a thumbs up text message
Cool.
and just says, "Doing my part."
Thank you. She'll give a thumbs up in return.
Then we head back to the cannery.
Okay.
Yep.
Those of you who are at the cannery, discussions while they're on their way back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where were we?
Which tradition are we on?
We just finished up domain.
Okay, so progeny. Honestly, I don't know that any of us here actually have childer.
It's only going to be an issue to people who come with their child, and how you handle the child, whether or not the sire who is bringing someone who's a new vampire into the city.
I do think that's worth keeping. Maybe not like as stringently, but
They're still responsible for untrained vampires, basically what we're saying.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You make a child, you train your child.
Mm-hmm.
I know some clans don't do it that way. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, but you're setting your own, so it's
Be right
not going to
back.
be, if you say you sire a child in our city or bring an untrained child in and it commits a breach, in particular of the masquerade, we hold you accountable. After that, you can kind of, gray area most of the rest of it. If they act against citizens of the city, it's investigated and justice is meted out as the Baroness wishes. However you want to word all the rest of it. But
Wait, that part's more about the accounting, which, right, I agree. But as far as like making children, I'm not opposed to that, as long as you're not like reckless about it, and as long as the city can support them. I don't. Okay.
You're going to have to find a way to deal with that particular issue, because there are people, not people anymore, there are vampires who, for lack of a better wording, breed indiscriminately.
Do we have them?
What do you think we should claim for that?
It's a topic probably others need to weigh in.
Seth is staying really quiet.
Most families, in loose terms, don't like to grow without being able to control the environment properly. There are exceptions, the Sabbat being one of them. The Sabbat, anyone who's defended a Camarilla city or been involved in that type of defense, the Sabbat just goes out, they sire hordes of children, point them at the Cam city and say, go. That would be a bad sign if you saw someone doing something like that.
Yeah, that, of course, that makes sense. That's there could be people inclined to abuse that freedom if we don't restrict it. I don't know. What do you all think?
One child at a time till they're free of the accounting?
I think, sire responsibly. You are expected to any childer you make, any problems they cause, you will be responsible for. Just so they're in the understanding, they're like, okay, if they want to go and have like a big old family, but if they cause a whole lot of havoc, that's we're going to come to the parent to start chopping that tree down.
Okay, I like that. I would say probably any special exceptions need to be run past the Baron or explained to the Baron.
I don't know if you even want to make that something for a special exception.
Well, my thought is, we've had incidents before where childer were created in an emergency situation. And I don't think it was more than one, but I'm sensitive to that.
I would think that's something you can deal with after the fact.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess
I wouldn't want to lay it out there because anytime you make a special exception, someone wants to use it.
People are going to push it. Okay. All right.
It'd just be something we have in the back of our minds that, it exists, it's happened before, but yeah, in that particular area, I don't think making it a possibility is a good choice.
Fair enough. Okay. We talked about accounting also. Hospitality. This is one we've kind of talked about before. I think we should definitely keep that one. It's, again, a little less stringent since we don't have domains the way that CAM has domains, but yeah, definitely present yourself to a member of, I don't know what we want to call ourselves, essentially to me or Ben, right? When you come in with, do we want to have like a time frame within the first, I don't know, 48 hours or something?
Any time frame you use, someone at some point is going to abuse. So they'll say, I was hunted, the Sabat were after me, I laid low, but I kept seeing them for days because they thought they had me, and you'll get I'm exaggerating, of course, but you understand what I'm saying.
Don't put a time limit, just
say, the Baron appreciates you coming and letting me know you're here, and timely appearances are always appreciated.
Present yourself to the Baron's council with in a timely fashion when you enter the city.
Yeah, that says enough. That gives people leeway, and it's hard for someone to say, come up with an excuse that's going to be legit.
I like that.
Not that I've ever done that.
I get the feeling you might have done that.
I got to tell you, back in the 1800s, it was difficult.
Now I'm curious, who's older? Are you older, or is Henri older?
I'm sure we're of the age where we don't talk about it anymore.
Is that taboo? As you get older, that you shouldn't talk about how old you are?
How do I put this politely?
I'm guessing that the older you are, the more it places a target on your blood.
Oh, not just on your blood. The Sabat make a habit of hitting anything below X generation or X years, because experience counts even when generation doesn't. So if you've been around a long time and you've traveled in particular, they're like, oh no, that's someone who needs to go away, because especially if at some point you've traveled through where they've been and Maryland. So yeah, but it applies to almost anything. A lot of the hunting packs that hunted the elders went by age. So if you said, yeah, I was around when Greece was here. Yeah, that was a target. Or what was another one? Yeah, that Christian female knight in France. What was her name?
Joan of Arc.
Joan d'Arc.
Yeah. That was a bad association too for a while.
Napoleon was not as short as people say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Henri, did you know Joan of Arc?
No.
No.
You know, actually,
different circles. It's
I heard it said that in those days, people in general were shorter, and so he really wasn't that much different from his contemporaries.
no, he was not that short of a man compared.
So we will just like raise our eyebrows at Remus.
What?
Is it true he was as big around as he was tall?
No, he was not. Well, maybe in later years. I don't remember. But when he was first came into power, he was a skinnier man.
Okay, the last one.
So you knew him personally?
No, I was imprisoned by him, but I did not know him.
You were imprisoned by him.
Yeah, by his regime.
Wow.
Yes.
I feel like that's a story from another time.
we can talk another
definitely.
day. Yes.
Definitely.
So the last one is destruction, and I'm not a prince. I'm not going to call for someone's death. I think in a situation where one of us requires punishment, I think we all need to vote.
Okay. You've made a very general statement. Did we vote on killing the demon?
I think we did.
Wait, what?
Did we vote on killing the demon, or did we just say the demon needs to die and everyone agreed and we did it?
Did the rules of the masquerade apply to just vampires alone, or do they also apply to any creature that wanders into the domain?
There you go. Good question.
Because in the case of the demon, I would say like, oh yeah, it made sense to take out an evil demon. But in the case of like a vampire, that's probably like, I think that we can probably give them enough of an idea of like what the possible punishments might be if they break any of the above rules. I don't know if we necessarily need to, especially if Sophie is, or the Baron. I'm sorry, if the Baron is reticent to like have official edicts on how death is meant to be ruled out.
I would not comment on it because there are many in the Camarilla who will look at a statement like that and go, we can manipulate it.
Definitely not saying a word.
Yeah.
These rules and traditions that we're talking about, these are not the rules by which we govern other supernaturals. They are, I think they have their own rules, and most of them would agree with the masquerade portion, but otherwise they police themselves and they don't fall under our rules. So something like a demon, I don't think.
Sorcerer?
Yeah, I think we need to make like the distinction that like this is for kindred, because I don't think.
Okay, then I agree with it, but I also had to point out the fact that there are things within our city that we're probably going to have to deal with in that fashion. Come upon.
Oh, true. It's more of like I just don't imagine that a werewolf is going to come into town and want to abide by our rules to begin with. Like a werewolf's not going to they're not going to present themselves to us to let us know who they are. But
no, but we've all agreed that a certain Sebastian needs to be destroyed.
Yeah. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that when you say it's a vote, there are times when we've taken out creatures and we didn't vote on it, and that's a situational thing, and I don't want you to close yourself to it, because if you say we have to vote,
how do they put it? A clear and present threat to the well-being of the city.
Yeah. Leave yourself open to making a situational judgment, because otherwise you'll be held to doing that. And you don't think about it as what someone outside Sabat, Cam, or whatever, is there a way to manipulate it and expect it to be done?
this will also be the rules that we're going to also have to govern ourselves by. So if we start making promises that we're going to destroy creatures that don't abide by our rules, then we really have to abide by these rules.
So, but yeah, I would prefer not to comment on it. Really, not make a comment. If someone asks about, will the Baron destroy someone or will the city destroy someone? That's someone we need to pay attention to. That's a question I want them to ask us. Let
Yeah,
them not know the
that makes
answer.
sense. If someone asks whether the Baron will destroy them, then maybe we need to ask them why
Why would you worry about
are
that?
they concerned about that.
And we'll have Revis watching from another room through a peephole.
Yeah, but yeah, let's leave it at that. If people ask that question, it's a trigger for us, but let's not make a hard and fast rule. That makes me uncomfortable if we lock ourselves in like that.
Okay.
And so with that, we'll go ahead and stop for the night because we're a little over 3 hours in. So a lot of game time tonight. Good job.
Yeah, had fun.
You guys got a lot of house cleaning done.
I'm feeling much better about a lot of this stuff.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Something got thrown out there that shouldn't have gotten thrown out, so I guess we'll have to worry about that later. It's all story. Anyways, so the next game we have coming up is Marvel Superheroes at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow night. So hope you guys tune in for that. And then next week, we have Cyberpunk on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Street Fighter on the 27th, which is at Thursday, also at 7 p.m. And then on the 29th is our Ashland by Night Blood Ties game, which will be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then after that, we have a barbecue to go to.
Ooh.
At
The
Jeremiah's.
Brodoviches?
So, yes, Bronovich barbecue.
Yeah.
So thank you guys all for who tuned in and watch on the video on demand. And we'll hope to catch you again next time. Good night, guys.
Night all.